What we're seeing from Lauri Markkanen and Keyonte George is truly remarkable. It's next on Locked on Jazz. Bum 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 pow.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice to Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked on Jazz. It's your daily podcast on Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps and on YouTube. Special welcome to our newest members of the Everydayer Club. Timothy Wisham, welcome aboard. Glad to have you as part of the Everydayer Club. Also welcoming, we've had a few days away, Marvin Nelson, thank you very much for joining. Ryan Taylor, glad to have you aboard as well as the newest members of the Everydayer Club. Also, welcome to Jason Bemis. You guys are great. And the fifth and final one to mention today, Sebastian Caceres. Welcome aboard. Glad to have all you guys as members of the Everydayer Club. All right, on today's show, we'll do our Monday league trends. Jazz offense will come out very well on this. Slipped a little bit against the Warriors, but come out very well on this. Fun and exciting to see that. We'll also look at where we sit in the standings, and that looks a little bit better for those of you that are worried about the draft pick, as you should be. I've mentioned on a few shows, Isaiah Collier has a weird plus-minus going on. I'm kind of mystified by it, but we'll talk about it. And I have a theory on what the Warriors did the other night, that this is actually the future of the NBA, and that is probably going to get people upset, but I actually think you might be onto something. But let's start with Lauri Markkanen and Keyonte George, because they're both truly remarkable. You get used to your best players, and we've had it with pairs our entire time in the NBA. We had Stockton and Malone. We had Darren and Carlos. And these guys step up and score and play every night. And actually, Keyonte did not have a very good second half the other night, and that's actually what jumped out to me. Is it had been since the Houston game where he kind of seemed dislodged, that been since Keyonte had kind of had a poor game. And then I thought about Lauri. Like, when was the last time Lauri had a poor game? Now, and Lauri's not playing every night anymore. And so it kind of discombobulates his rhythm. Last year, this is when Lauri kind of fell off. And maybe before Lauri had started missing some of these games, he might have been beginning to fall off a little bit as well this year. There were 2 or 3 games there. But in the last 10 games, when him playing kind of intermittently, he's shooting 50% from the floor, 38% from three again, 90% from the free throw line. I mean, he's close to 50, 40, 90 again. He's averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists a game. It's just on a basic night in and night out basis, 29, 30. He did only have 18 against the Knicks. 26, 33, 27, 30, 29, 22, 35. And it's always efficient. I mean, and what he did the other night, that he actually did against Dallas also, is his ability to kind of alter his game. So he took 19 two-point shots the other night, which is the most we've seen out of him. Contrast that to a night against some other times where he's taken as few as 10 and had a big night. He had 29 against the Spurs. He only took 10 two-point shots. Only took 16 shots overall that night. He went 11-16. He was pretty incredible. But he has added into his game this tight curl, power dribble drive game, using force in a manner that he didn't always used to do. It has, I think, in turn, led to a level of consistency night in and night out that's superior to where he's been before. The three-point shooting, actually, frankly, there are times when he gets into little slumps and he shoots, 35% instead of 40%, and then when he relies on it, he can have some off nights. But right now, Lauri Markkanen is taking, according to Cleaning the Glass, is taking 30% of his shots at the rim this year. Last year, he took 23%. In his All-Star year, he took 33%. He's taking 25% of his shots in the short mid-range, which is up from 19 last year, 22 and 21 the year before that. So he's still obviously a proficient three-point shooter, but he went from taking 53% of his shots as a three-point look down to 38%. So he's altered his game a great deal this year. It's actually back reminiscent to the shot chart that he had 4 years ago. The other thing that's happened is how much more efficient he is. So according to Cleaning the Glass, he's gone from 64% of his made shots at the rim being made to 73%, which is a career high percentage of the rim. All of his other stuff pretty much the same. His three-point shooting, exact same as it was a year ago, 35, 36%. His non-corner threes are 34, 33%. He's actually not shooting great from above the break threes this year. But he's going to the rim more and shooting there at a higher percentage. He's playing a different power game that's leading to an incredible consistency. And then Keyonte, I would say, deserves equal praise because this is the first time that Keyonte's been asked to do this and is holding up to it. It's not like, not only are his last 10 games amazing, he's shooting 48% from the field, 46% from three. He's still at 89% from the free throw line. He's averaging 24 points or 30 points a game, 5 rebounds and 7 assists. I mean, that's just insanity. It's incredible. Last 10 games, he's averaging 30 points a game. But it's 39, 37, 34, 27, 20, 24, 31, 28, 37, and 22. Like he might have blinked twice in there. But it used to be that Keyonte regularly had games where he shot 33% or below. We're not seeing that. His three-point shooting has generally been now pretty consistent. His two-point shooting as well. The other night against the Warriors, he did get discombobulated. He had 7 turnovers in that game. He went 3 of 9 from 2. He seemed off. Okay. It's actually what jumped out to make me discuss this. It was so weird to see Keyonte George off. It's so weird to see Lauri Markkanen off. And for Keyonte, what's actually happened is he hasn't changed. He's drawing fouls better, but he's making his rim shots. He's went from 61 to 71% shooting at the rim. And his long twos, which someone's got, you have to take it down, then he shouldn't be overly excited about it. He's gone from 32 to 40%. And then all of his three-point shooting generally is up. His above the break three-point shooting is actually now in the 68th percentile for guards at 38%. So you're seeing, to me, what we just can't, obviously there's a huge load on these two. And obviously the offense run. It's a credit to Will and the coaching staff also that you have these guys who on a nightly basis are absolutely the target of the scouting report. And on a nightly basis are still stepping up to make all of the plays that we need them to make and that they can make impressively. It's pretty awesome. I don't think you should. I guess my point, I'm taking it in. You can do whatever you want. I'm taking it in. I'm impressed by it. I'm a little wowed that they're able to night in and night out perform. That's the task. It's a huge ask. And it's what you get the money for. And they're rising up to it. What's going on with Isaiah Collier's weird plus minus into the Golden State Warriors actually do something really analytically smart that would be bad for the game. Next on Locked On Jazz. Monday edition of Locked On Jazz is brought to you by Murdoch Chevy. Located in Woods Cross and located in Logan, the Chevy dealership is Americana. Chevy trucks, the Colorado, the Silverado. Oh, it's everything you can imagine. Start the new year with an incredible 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 crew cab with Turbo Max engine. And right now, select models are 1.9% APR. So incredible deals over at Murdoch Chevy. Plus, you got the Murdochs, and the Murdochs do everything to make it useful to you. They have happy hour specials on maintenance from 1 to 4 on Monday through Friday. They have service charges where 1 through 4, you get 20% off. The great lineup of trucks, the SUV lineup of Chevys starts all the way up top with the Suburban and the Tahoe. And then obviously the Blazer and the Equinox and the Trailblazer, all there for you as well. It's all at Murdoch Chevy, located in Woods Cross, also located in Logan. If you're going to stop by either, please email me first so that we can get you the VIP treatment that you deserve as a member of the Locked On listening and part of our everyday. Get the everyday privilege you deserve by being a Locked On listener. Today's show is brought to you in part also by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly when you play 5. Well, I like that math. That's right. Here's the deal with Prize Picks right now. It's pretty exciting times. You get to pick more or less, get in the game, whether you're starting a new routine, jumping into player projections for the first time, try something new and feel like a challenge. With Prize Picks, always feels good to be right with high-pressure football matchups every weekend, elite hoop action each night. The action never slows down, and Prize Picks lets you stay in control. Prize Picks is the daily fantasy app that makes watching sports even more exciting by letting you build lineups based on player projections, no drafts, no waiting, just more or less play your way. Getting started on Prize Picks, quick, simple, and the app is super easy to use. It's made watching games more engaging, especially when following individual player performances. I love the flexibility with options like Flex Play, where you can still get paid even if one pick misses. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after your play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Thank you very much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen, and thank you for making us the #1 sports podcast network in the country. All right, Everydayer Club. We've built this for you for 2026 and 2025. For those of you who are interested in all access, you'll get a daily newsletter after every show. You get all my prep notes sent to you as text. You get one-on-one text interactions with me. You get inside reaction to all the rumors that are going on in the league. You get Leaf to Lean's exclusive access episodes on the draft and the Jazz. He's absolutely been amazing. People are loving that. Plus, you get ad-free Locked On Sports Today audio ad-free as well, and access to our Discord channel. That is for $15 a month or $150 a year. You get 2 months off if you do it annually. And you also can just join the regular Everydayer Club, which is Locked On Sports Today audio, ad-free Locked On Jazz, and access to the exclusive Discord channel. That's all available for you. Also, if you join the All Access Club, you get 20% off in the, or 20% off, I think. 20% off in the, maybe 15% off. I probably should check that. You get access to the Locked On Gear Store. I only run the company. I probably should know those things. All right, so you can do all that. You go to the lockedonjazz.supercast.com. That's lockedonjazz.supercast.com. You don't want to use the www. That's where I was misleading some of you. lockedonjazz.supercast.com. That's lockedonjazz.supercast.com. All right. Let's play a little math game here for a second. So the Warriors are playing Oklahoma City the other day. And I think their chances of winning that game, probably going into the game, they probably had like a 25% win probability. I don't know this. I probably should have some smart guy like the guy I'm having lunch with today at ESPN figure this out for me. So let's say they had a 20% win possibility to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. So they sat Steph, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. They're playing 3 games in 4 nights. Seemed like a really smart thing to do. The injury rash that's going on in the league seems like a really smart thing to do. And frankly, if I was teams in the NBA right now, I would be running so much data. I don't know if there's enough to run it, but I would be running so much data on when injuries happen, when injuries happen in game, whether you've had a day off the night before, whether it's just when you check in or whether it's when you've been on the floor for a long time. I mean, I would be trying to figure out everything. It's an epidemic problem going to, change the league. You got to figure it out. So that would be what I was doing. But anyway, the thought I had is the Warriors had like a 25% win probability against the Thunder. They then don't play Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler, and they probably drop to like a 10% win probability. The next night they play us. And I would say they probably had a home game against us, a 65% win probability in that game. Maybe. Now, the fact that their star players all have a rest advantage over the Jazz players, which isn't entirely true because the Jazz didn't play people against Clippers, but just go with it, or that they're at least rested, where does that move your win probability? Does it move it from 65 to 75%? Which then would mean that doing these two things is a wash. Or does it actually move it to like 77%, which means you've given yourself in a 2-game span a 2% better chance to win a game? 2% is actually a lot. I'm wondering, first, I'd want the data on what's causing injuries. But I'm wondering whether that's actually some model that teams should probably be using. In that you have certain games playing your third game, and maybe that's actually what teams have done the whole time. But I also wonder, as I watch some of the teams that don't play guys every night, whether there's some model there or something to it that, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if guys get through the season more when teams just don't play them every night and they suddenly play them 6. Do they actually not get injured? This is where load management supposedly hasn't shown this. And frankly, talking to trainers and talking to people in the league, strength and conditioning people, they all say if you could just play every other day, all the time, and keep your body in a cycle, you'd be better off. So resting players actually could be dangerous. But it's an interesting concept of, if you're playing with your win probability, how can you actually maximize it in some way? All right, we have a weird thing going on that doesn't match my eyeballs. So for the season, right now, when Isaiah Collier is on the floor, we have not been very good. He's a -9 plus minus. And yet, we're in the 52nd percentile offensively. This is crazy. Let me back up for a second because I actually have a number that's wrong here for a second. I've pulled all these numbers, pre-pulled these numbers. Okay. When Isaiah Collier's on the floor this year, we're a -17.4, which seems really strange because When I watch the game, Isaiah Collier comes in the game. He immediately accelerates the tempo. He immediately gets in the paint. He immediately creates things for everybody. He's getting all these assists. His shooting's not great, but it's there. But we all feel it. Isaiah comes in the game changes in a positive way. And yet we're minus 17.4 when he's on the floor. Our offense is in the 23rd percentile. Our defense is a 129.5. Okay. Now, I don't know that one guy can be causing this, but and we'll dig into this. The defense when Isaiah Collier's on the floor right now is in the first percentile overall. First out of, like, you want to be 99th. It's first. Third percentile when in shooting, 17th in forcing turnovers, third in defensive rebounding, and 9th in free throw rate. So really horrific. And that's what leads to it. Okay. So that seems a little strange. But let's put Yusuf Nurkic on the floor and Kevin Love off the floor, because part of the problem is that Isaiah's playing with our backup lineups, but the defense doesn't change if I do that. We're now minus 15. The defense is the third percentile, 127 instead of what it was. It's now in the first percentile shooting defense at 61st. It's better rebounding, which is because Yusuf Nurkic is on the floor, and its free throw rate is a little better. Okay, so the changing of centers doesn't seem to do it. Kyle Filipowski is not a particularly good defensive player. Isaiah Collier plays a lot with Kyle Filipowski. If you take him off the floor, it has no impact. Okay. So what's going on? I don't know, but let's continue trying to dig through it. So Isaiah Collier's most common lineup he plays with is Keyonte George, Bryce Sensabaugh, Kyle Filipowski, and Kevin Love. And that lineup is a minus 14 with a defensive number that's a 135. Let me make sure that what these defensive numbers mean makes sense. The offense, average offense in the NBA right now is about a 116, and the best defense, the reasonably best defense in the NBA is a 110, not Oklahoma City. And the worst defense is a 122, us, 123. Okay. So 123 is like the benchmark of worst in the league, and we're talking about a 135. His next lineup he plays with is actually the starters, which is when he comes right in. He plays with Keyonte, Svi Mykhailiuk, Lauri Markkanen, and Yusuf Nurkic. And we're a minus 29 per 100 possessions. Again, weird. The offense torpedoes of that one. The lineup that's been really good, which is in here, is Isaiah Collier with Keyonte George, Bryce Sensabaugh, spacing, Lauri Markkanen, and Yusuf Nurkic. That lineup's a plus 23, and it defends. And I don't know if it's had three-point shooting luck or what. I can look at that. It is not. It's had rim luck. Teams are shooting 29% at the rim against that lineup. Some of the other numbers Isaiah's having unusually bad luck when he's on the floor by three-point shooting. Okay? So that's part of this. Teams are shooting 54% from three when Isaiah Collier's on the floor defensively. Seems crazy. And 39% on above the break three-point shooting, which is 42% overall. Okay. So there's some real number luck here that's weird in small sample sizes. They do get a lot of corner threes, and they do get to the rim a lot, which actually we deny the rim a lot, and we deny the corner threes a lot. They get a lot of threes. Okay, back to the lineups. So here's what's strange. It's not surprising Isaiah Collier has a bad plus minus when he plays mostly with the bench unit on a team where Walker went out and we just don't have the personnel. And but it is surprising because I watch him think he has impact. So let me put him on the floor with Keyonte and Lauri. So he goes from playing basically 1,200 possessions this year. He's played 1,200 possessions this year. Of those 1,200, 25% or so have been with Keyonte and Lauri on the floor. And we're still a minus 17, and the defense is still a 129.2. I'm not entirely sure I know what's going on here. It feels small sample size, weird three-point shooting, but it's probably worth noting. That would be the way I'd phrase it. Trends Monday next as we continue on Locked on Jazz. Today's show is brought to you by Quo. Quo is the company that I always talk about that I wish I knew had existed when we were building Locked On, because we could have used it, or I personally certainly could have used it. Here's what Quo is. It is your phone management system that gets you going and does a little bit more than that. So it's time to get the messier parts of your business and say, how can we do it better? Streamlining communication, one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's what today's episode is brought to you by Quo. That's QUO. It's a smarter way to run your business communications. Business, you need to be reachable, organized, communicating all in one place, and you're creating more opportunity to connect with customers. So here's how simple Quo makes everything. Your whole team can call or text from one shared business number. Everyone sees the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal. It works right with your phone or computer, and you can even take your existing number. And Quo's smart AI tools automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps, so details never slip through the cracks. It's no surprise Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to glowing teams. Make this year where no opportunity, no customer slips away. Try Quo for free plus 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. All right, Trends Monday. We always start with the top 10 or top last 10 games. Then we'll go to last 2 weeks, and then we'll look at draft position. So last 10 games, some of this is fun for the Jazz, some of it is not. Offensive teams in the last 10 games of the NBA, the Utah Jazz are the 6th best offense in the NBA over the last 10 games. The Boston Celtics have the #1 offense. The LA Clippers have the #2. Surprisingly, the Houston Rockets have #3. Denver 4. We'll see if that can last without Jokic. 5, Charlotte. 6, Utah. That's fun. Teams that are the best defensive teams, the Thunder are #1 again. Detroit is 2. Brooklyn is 3. San Antonio is 4. Toronto is 5. And Phoenix is 6. Oklahoma City, Detroit, Brooklyn, San Antonio, Toronto, and Phoenix. Toronto's really been in and out of this list. Minnesota's back up to 7th, just kind of out of interest. Okay, top hottest teams. Oklahoma City is net ratings at 9.2. Boston's is a 9.2. San Antonio's at 8.3. Phoenix 6.0. Detroit 5.7. And the Clippers at 5.3. No team in the NBA has won more than 7 of the last 10. Here are the teams that cannot score right now. Sacramento, worst offense in the league. Indiana, who's lost like a million in a row. Milwaukee, Dallas, Portland, who we play tonight, and Toronto. So Toronto's defending, can't score. Teams that cannot defend right now, or are the worst at it. Utah's the worst defensive team in the last 10 games. Denver, Lakers, Sacramento, the New York Knicks, and the Indiana Pacers. So the Knicks and the Lakers, noticeable. Denver, see if they're so shorthanded. Though they got Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon back. And the teams that are playing the most poorly over the last 10 games, Sacramento, Indiana, New Orleans, Lakers, and Utah. And then Dallas. So that's the last 10 game stretch. Nothing that noteworthy actually in that. Like, that's interesting to me. I'd say the things that jumped out at me, Charlotte's offense being 5th and the Jazz being 6th. Probably nobody on the not scoring. Milwaukee not being able to score is not surprising. On the defensive end, Brooklyn being 3 and Toronto being 5 jumps out. And the Lakers really continual defensive struggles, but also the Knicks under Mike Brown. It's might make me a little nervous if I was a Knicks fan, that Tom Thibodeau's defensive focus is disappearing for the Knicks. All right, hottest teams in the NBA right now, Boston over the last 2 weeks, then Clippers, then Oklahoma City, then Houston, then Phoenix, then Miami. Coldest teams in the NBA, Sacramento, Indiana, New Orleans, Utah, and the Lakers. Lakers' offense in the last 2 weeks is only 20th for all that talk about their defensive struggles. Hottest offense in the league, Clippers, like ripping. Boston, Charlotte, Houston, Denver, and Phoenix over the last 2 weeks. Offenses that cannot score, Indiana, Sacramento, New Orleans, Dallas, Chicago, and Portland. No real big surprises here. Clippers offense being number 1 in the league's eye-opening. Oklahoma City's number 1 defense, followed by Phoenix, Miami, Boston, Milwaukee, and Houston. The worst defense is Utah, followed by Sacramento, Denver, New Orleans, Lakers, and Charlotte. And the hottest and the team struggling the most, Sacramento, Indiana, New Orleans, Utah, and Lakers. All right, let's take a look at our draft position. Right now, we're sitting at 7th, which is pretty nerve-wracking going into the lottery. We'll simulate a lottery right now. Here we go. Our first lottery simulation of the year. Jazz slipped to 9, and Oklahoma City gets the pick. You got to be kidding me. Oklahoma City, we get the 9th pick from Utah and the 10th pick from the Clippers. Milwaukee jumped up to 3, and Chicago jumped up to 2. Yeah. So first time we do it, we lost pick. Let's look at where we are. Indiana's lost 12 in a row. They have 6 wins. We're not catching them. New Orleans has lost 7 in a row. Despite trying to win, they have 8 wins. Feels less likely, but still a possibility. Sacramento's lost 5 in a row. They have 8 wins. We're not catching them. Washington is 9-25. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're 3 games behind us in the win column. I don't think we can catch them. So there's 4. This is where it gets interesting. Brooklyn's 5-5 in their last 10. 11 wins. We're at 12. Charlotte's 5-5 in their last 10. They're at 12. And we're 3-7, and we're at 12. And the Clippers are at 12, and Dallas is at 12. Brooklyn and Charlotte are the ones to keep an eye on at this point. Clippers are going to keep winning. I don't know what Dallas is going to do. They could join us if we're not careful. But the teams I would watch closely every night are Brooklyn, Charlotte, and Dallas. It would be really nice if we could get to 5. I don't think we can do better than that, though. And frankly, when the year started, I don't think we ever thought we could be better than 3. But now Indiana, New Orleans, and Sacramento have joined the party in a way that nobody anticipated. That is Locked On Jazz today. Thanks very much for tuning in. Thank you for making Locked On Jazz your first listen. You can follow me on socials, DLock09 on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, doing a bunch of stuff these days. You can also join our Everydayer Club. $5 gets you ad-free Discord channel and Locked On Sports Today ad-free audio. $15 a week, a month. What did I say? $5 a month, $50 a year, or $150 a year gives you all access, direct one-on-one texting with me, interacting, Leaf 2 Leans bonus content for you, daily newsletter of the show, all that coming your direction on at go to lockedonjazz.supercast.com. lockedonjazz.supercast.com. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for tuning in. We now send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA channel, Locked On NBA on YouTube or on audio. Check out Locked On NBA game night, every game, every night.